Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rita Friana. I am a student of Master Management Program in Universitas Negeri Jakarta. I will explain about the managing transaction exposure, hedging versus not hedging, strategies for managing foreign exchange transaction exposure. Before I will explain about this topic, I will explain about the topic of this discussion. First, introduction, and then the second, literature review. The third is research method. The fourth is finding, discussion, and the fifth is implication and consequences of the finding with the international financial management issue. Foreign exchange or FX transaction exposure exists when firms have financial obligation due to be settled in foreign currency. For example, a firm may be due to pay foreign currency in 3 months for some good it exported. When the foreign currency is received, they will convert it to from house currency. If during the 3 month period the value of the home currency has appreciated against the foreign currency, the firm will receive less home currency for each unit of foreign currency. Depending on the magnitude of home currency appreciation, this can be costly for the firm. And then in this case, the firm can protect itself against this outcome by managing the exposure, utilizing any of the choice of alternative. The most complex solution is for the firm to ensure that the exposure is not created in the first instance. For the firm, this could be achieved by billing the buyer in house currency. The problem of transaction exposure is then passed on the buyer for various reasons, including lack of market power or potential loss of competitiveness. This may be a viable option. And assuming then the exposure is created in the most general terms in the firm can choose between internal hedge and external hedge. Internal hedge include leading and lagging of payment and foreign currency account, while external hedge including derivatives such as forward, future, option, and swaps. Forward FX contract or forward exchange contract, and we can call FEC, are the simplest of the external hedge and the most used. The property may be partly explained by their simplicity of use. Over-the-counter trading that permit exact specification regarding dates and amount and minimal explicit costs. And then the purpose of this paper is to test the hedging effectiveness of FECs consistent with existing literature. The FECs performance will be compared to that of an unhedged position or fully exposed position. One of immediately difficult phase in making a statement regarding the effectiveness of various hedging strategy is that definition of effectiveness is not heterogeneous among hedgers. For one hedger, a good hedge may be one that reduces risk to some degree with nil or minimal impact of return. Another hedger may be prepared to accept a significant reduction in accepted return in exchange for completing certainty. As a result, any research such as the current paper that has as its purpose the identification of the better decision must clearly define at the outset what is best. Two approaches are used here. First, from the traditional finance utility maximization framework, the risk or return trade-off is considered. Drawing of the third of literature with regard to equity portfolios and diversification and hedging, the Sharpe ratio model of Howard and Di Antonio in 1984 and 1987 is used. Secondly, taking a narrower view of hedging, assuming that it's only concerned with risk reduction. The minimum variance model of Etherington in 1979 is used. The second purpose of this paper is to expand on the exposure management analysis above by introducing selective hedging strategies that are implemented as a result of forecasts on the future spot rate. In the case above, the hedger was passive. That is, the decision was between the two polar extremes of hedging every exposure with a FEC or remaining unhedged. There was no middle ground. In contrast, a selective hedger makes a judgment on each exposure. For example, it is believed that the exchange rate will move in a favorable direction and the exposure would remain unhedged. If, on the other hand, the exchange rate is expected to move in an unfavorable direction, the exposure should be hedged. In this paper, the random walk and volatility models, amongst other, will be used to forecast the future spot rate. The forecast will determine whether a particular exposure should be hedged with an FEC or remain unhedged. The contribution of this research are for it extend the work of Moore and Simpson in 2001 by considering the USD vis-a-vis number of significant Pacific Rim or ASEAN currency. In addition to examining different data set to Moore, Simpson and performance measure of Zhang et al. In 1997, Moore and Simpson consider FEC but measure their performance with ex-post efficient frontiers and simple return per unit of risk measure. Zhang et al. Compare future to remaining unhedged but use the Sharpe ratio and minimum variance as measure. And then the second, the current research expand the set of forecasting model used to make the decision to hedge or not. Introduction, the volatility model, which is also combined with the random walk forward premier rule. And then the literature review. A number of streams of literature can be identified in the area of FX exposure management or hedging. Most fundamental is the debate as to whether firms should hedge. This debate has been well covered in the literature and finance texts such as Smith, Smithson, and Wilford in 1990. The accepted wisdom is that the firm can add value by hedging due to market imperfection and economic of scale. Another stream of literature used survey to investigate whether firms hedge and why, characteristic firm that hedge, and what methods or instruments are used to hedge. A particular stream of relevance to this paper concern passive and selective hedging. The finance literature is rich with papers that preach and benefit to investors of international equity and debt investment. And Un and Resnick in 1994 extend this work by considering the impact of the investment result when exchange rate risk is hedged with FEC. While the results were mixed for various asset classes, the study did show improvement of risk-return outcome when the international investment were hedged. And then the Glenn and Jorion in 1993 concurred that talk when they extend the analysis to include the use of blacks in 1990. Universal Hedge ratio fund hedge add little improvement. And then On and Resnick in 1997 next introduced the distinction between passive and selective hedging. They discussed the literature concerning the forward rate being unbiased predictor of the future spot and the subsequent literature, identifying the risk premium in the forward rate that makes them in fact bias estimator. And then the literature review about from N. Resnick Identity Mesh and Rugov in 1988 work of the officiant of the random walk that saw it superior to or at least the equal to any forecasting technique as offering a selective hedge indicator. The implication being the current spot is the best indicator of the future spot. For an exporter receiving a foreign currency, the random walk would suggest only hedging by looking in the forward rate when it is higher. That is a more favorable rate for the exporter than the expected spot. And then Ecker and Grant in 1990 used this strategy and found it produced superior result to always hedging. Up to the work by N. Resnick in 1997, the evidence was mixed in that most studies found some improvement though the result ranged from large improvement to minimal improvement to minimal, and in some cases none, for various portfolio. For example, Glenn and Jorion in 1993 found that selective strategy offer no improvement over a fully hedged strategy for a portfolio of the World Bond or World Stock Index. And then the contribution of N. Resnick in 1997 was to firstly use the traditional passive hedge of FES, but also introducing passive contribution of N. Resnick in 1997 was to firstly use the traditional passive hedge of FECs, but also introduce a passive strategy using put option. They also considered a number of variants of random walk as the basis for the selective strategies. The result using the Sharpe measure of portfolio performance showed that the selective strategy based on the random walk offers superior outcomes for an internationally diversified stock portfolio than either of the passive strategy of remaining unhedged. And then Jong et al. In 1997 studied the hedging performance of FX futures. They note, however, that NAV hedging with currency future transforms currency risks into basis risks. And hence, their focus was the test for the optimal hedge ratio. More and Simpson in 2001 have recently extended this work by considering different data and expanding the set of selective hedging strategy. They consider hedging only when the forward premium is historical large and when a relative purchasing power parity model indicates an incorrectly price bilateral exchange rate using ex post efficient frontier and return per unit of risks to compare the strategies. They found that for 12 months time period, the large premia strategy, by the terminology used so far in the current paper, this is a selective strategy, give the best result superior to the selective strategy based upon the random walk. In addition, they note that in all cases, the unhedged strategy performs better than the always hedged strategy. Hedging strategy evaluated and data. As discussed above, this means that the firm exposed amount is subject to the movement of the relevant exchange rate. The first two strategies used in the study are passive. The first is not to hedge, and then the second passive strategy is to always hedge the exposure. And then an adjustment is also made to this average premium by multiplying it by 1.5. This increase the required margin before a hedge will be placed, and so further reduce the disadvantage of hedging when the spot rate subsequently move in favorable after FEC has been used. The average forward margin is always adjusted by um, 0.5, which increases the number of hedge compared to the random walk, but the requires less than for the large premium. Next, a variant of volatility model of McCarthy in 2002 is used that recommended hedging when the spot rate displays excessive volatility. Excessive volatility is deemed to exist when the moving average of the exchange rate short-term volatility is greater than the moving average of the exchange rate long-term volatility. The short-term volatility is measured by the moving average of the previous 6-month exchange rate versus 12 months for the long term. And then research study applies the above rules to monthly FX data from 1992 to 2003. Specifically, the bilateral rates considered are the USD vis-a-vis the Australian dollar, the Japanese yen, and the Singapore dollar. For the Japanese yen and the Singapore dollar, the total period considered is from February 1993 until January 2003. Run calculation, where ET, it means the exchange rate at time T, and ET minus 1, the exchange rate at time T minus 1. Research method. Equation 1 show the model and the application for the short run calculation. And then the equation 2 compare the variance of the unhedged return to the variance of the various hedges return. And then we can see the equation 3. From equation 3, it follows that a positive outcome indicates that the hedge has a lower variance, and under this decision rule would be preferred. And then equation 4, it can be used as in equation 4 to measure the improvement in performance that hedging offers, if any, over remaining unhedged. And then this is the equation 5, the true cost of the FEC per home currency worth of foreign currency sold forward is represented by equation 5. And from this, the mean and variance of each alternative is calculated for input into equation 4. And then the result, sub ratio effectiveness, table 1 shows the sub ratio effectiveness, and table 2 the minimum variance model effectiveness. Within these are separate subtables for each of the three bilateral rates. As mentioned above, due to conventional method of exchange rate quoting, a negative answer for the Australian dollar per divide US dollar rate indicate a superior outcome compared to the unhedged position, while the other two quotes, a negative number indicates an inferior outcome compared to the unhedged position. As discussion, As discussed in the paper, the unhedged value and the always hedge with an FEC hedge will represent the extreme value. The remaining hedge are combined of these two and hence their value will always fall between these. And then its summary, the result across the 3-month and 12-month are consistent. The majority of outcomes, 70% show full hedging or selective hedging with FECs is superior to remaining unhedged. An interesting result is the strong performance of the random walk model. For both the full period and for period 1, the random walk produced the largest negative outcome inferring the best hedge. Recall from the above discussion that the random walk theory suggests that today spot rate is the best forecast of the future spot rate. The implication for this study being that if the forward rate is better rate than the current spot rate, and FEC will be used. If, however, the current spot is more favorable than the forward rate, the position will be left unhedged. For the Singapore dollar, period 1 has the most positive result, a superior result to remaining unhedged for both the 3 and 12-month FECs. The month FECs within period 1 all but the volatility and combined two are superior to remaining unhedged, with the strongest performer being always hedging than the random walk. For the full period and period 2, there is a little improvement for hedging. It is difficult with any consistency to conclude that for the Singapore dollar, any hedging alternative is superior to remaining unhedged. However, the 12-month FEC is not considered. The random walk does over some superior outcomes. For the Japan yen, there were no occasional where the always hedge offer a superior performance. For the 3-month FEC, however, there were a number of positive outcomes and some consistency with the Singapore dollar in period 1. To summarize, the sharp measure for both the Australian dollar, always hedge, and the Singapore dollar, random walk, the result to show some degree of consistency regarding the superior outcome for hedging. Minimum variance model effectiveness. Table 2 shows that as with the Sharpe ratio, the minimum variance model for the Australian dollar show a strong outcome in favor of hedging. Whether it is always with an FEC or selectively. For both the 3 and 12 months, FECs for all period. The always hedge produced a superior result to remaining unhedged. In total, 72% of hedge were superior to remaining unhedged. For both the Singapore dollar and Japanese yen, the results show that on no occasion for both the SGD, for both the Singapore dollar and Japanese yen, the results show that on no occasion did the always hedge produce a superior outcome to remaining unhedged. Indeed, there was a little evidence to show that the any hedge was consistently superior to remaining unhedged, while there were some superior outcomes resulting from hedging. It is not possible to draw any strong conclusion other than remaining unhedged was the superior performer. Or no worse, in 80% of the case for the Singapore dollar and in 85% case for the Japanese yen. For the both Singapore dollar and Japanese result, finding and discussion. The general conclusion that can be drawn from the result is that over the period considered, always hedging is favorable to remaining unhedged. For an exporter with an Australian dollar exposure while remaining unhedged is superior to always hedging for both the Singapore dollar and Japanese yen. And then the finding concerning the Australian dollar is supportive of those who argue that firms with an exposure should always hedge, as their competitive advantage is not in predicting exchange rate movements. With regard to the selective hedging alternatives, the random walk model performed well, especially so for Australian dollar exposure. And then the conclusion drawn from the finding for the Singapore dollar and then the Japanese yen are not that what generally by recommended to firm. On a short time or on off basis, this would be extremely dangerous as an adverse exchange rate movement may cause substantial financial damage. But the results suggest that for firms that have exposure rapidly over a long period of time, that hedging offer no benefit. It seems that the method of comparing the outcomes, either sharp or minimum variance, doesn't significantly impact of the finding. And then implication and consequence of the finding with the international financial management issue. The firm may choose to hedge most of its transaction exposure or the selective hedge that risk. Some MNCs hedge most of their transaction exposure so that they can more accurately predict their future cash inflow and outflows and make better decisions regarding the amount of financing they will need. The equation help managers to make decisions use hedging or not hedging. Many MNCs use selective hedging, in which they consider each type of transaction separately. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.